Right, so now I'm going to just show you about importing stuff into the Reallusion suite, which is mainly the Iclone 7, because that's where it's the base product, it's where everything goes into, from character creator and everything else. And 3DXchange all helps to get things into Iclone 7, which is the base product, and is where all the animation and everything happens as well. So what we're going to do first, we're going to go through this list. I've already prepared everything. All the files have been downloaded and everything else. So everything's been organized in its proper structure. So all I'm going to show you now is just very quickly what we're going to be going through. So we're going to do buildings, we're going to do characters, we're going to do objects. Okay, we're not going to do clothing and hair because that doesn't work very well. Environments again. We're just going to do buildings, characters and objects, right? So we're going to start off very simple. We're going to do buildings. Okay, and we're going to look at some things that you cannot do using Iclone 7 when it comes to importing, right? So buildings are absolutely fine. When you do import them though, if it's got separate FBX files like this, it means that you'll have to go through each individual file because there's literally no way of importing them all together in one go, unfortunately, in Iclone. Okay, just bear that in mind. And then you have to agree to them prompts, and it's going to very quickly get some of these up. As you can see, the building's shaping, but it's going to take too long, that method. Right, so another method we can do it is we can use something like Blender to help us out. Blender can help getting all the files together into one FBX consistent mesh. So let's just do that now. So let's just go into Import, FBX, and then Pen Drive, and CG Trader Contents, and then we just go into Buildings and the building we want. And yeah, not the OBJ, always make sure you do FBX, and then select the whole of the FBX, all of them, and click Shift-click on all of them, and click Import FBX. Okay, just wait for that to happen now. Right, once that happens, then we want to select each thing, and only the downward triangle ones. These are the FBX meshes, so Control-click on them, not these other icons. That's the animation files, ignore that. We don't want to mess around with that, we just want to mess around with the downward triangle files, okay? Select all the downward triangle files only. Right, and nothing else, okay? And once you've selected all of them, just double check. And then what we're going to do is right click on somewhere on the mesh and click on join, okay? And that's all we do here, we just join up all the FBX files and that joins them all into one thing for you. Then in Blender, very important, we just need to click on the actual thing again, and we don't need to click on it, just press A, right? And then we just click on File Export. Now we don't want the camera, and we don't want the light, so just get rid of them too. Okay, everything else we want, so again, press A, and then click on File, Export, and click on FBX, okay? And then again, Pen Drive, and the content folder Vital Saving, Buildings, 01, all. I'm just going to overwrite this other one I did before, Untitled2.fbx, right? And that's everything exported out. And now we can simply go into Iclone and put that building in. So let's do that, don't save that. Okay. Right, and go into File, and we just go into Import, Import, and then we just go back, okay, and back again. Right, and that's going to put in the Untitled 2, put the whole building in, all in one go through, as it will ask for us a quick prompt, and we just agree on the yes for that, and it'll be all done for us in a moment. Is all there, all in one go for us. No messing around with having to put it in all as separate files or anything. That is the quicker way of doing it and the more efficient way of doing it. And now that's the whole building in there for ourselves, and we can use it now for our heart's content. Okay, so that's buildings. that one. Okay, so then we look at the second one. This one's going to be a bit more complicated to show you because of the zoom level on it. I'm just going to go into Blender first so I can show you in more detail what it actually looks like, okay? Right, so file, import. This is actually an OBJ file, so I want to export it as an OBJ file as well. Right, and what I want to do is again find it on here, so pen drive, content, buildings 02, and as you can see it's the OBJ file, right? It's going to come in really quite big into Blender. Okay, so the first thing we want to do on this is zoom out as much as we can, and then we want to try and kind of move towards it, right? Select that, okay, and make sure you want its scale and just bring it down a bit, okay, just so we can see a bit better, right, what's actually going on, and then again move it a bit, right, and then just bring this down again a bit further, right, again, okay, so everything now is 0.4, then we can make it 0.2 if you wanted to, and again find where it's gone. That's always a tricky thing, finding where it's gone. Just make that 0.2, make that 0.2 as well, okay. It is technically smaller now, just lost where it is on the grid. There is ways to sort it out in Blender if you know how to. I'm not the best at doing this kind of stuff, so there is a way that you can set it back very quickly. Right, anyway, we're just gonna use that, and we're gonna go into export FBX, right, and then we're gonna save it out. Pen drive, CG3D content, obviously, buildings, O2, and that should be absolutely fine. Okay, and there's our building again, right? As you can see, it's still way too big. So let's try and make it even smaller, shall we? Okay, so now that is 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Let's just try and rotate this now. Right, and we can actually see something now. Almost. I just... Right. And then if we again rotate it, right, there we are. We're getting there. We can see the building now. Okay. Yep, we definitely can see the building now. Okay, so with the right way up, as you can see, it's not the best example to show you because it's a bit of a complicated building, this one. We can see the building in here now, that's the good thing, okay? So that's how it would be basically. So I'll just cut that down to 0.1. Let's just make that 0.05 and 0.05 and to make it even smaller, right? So it's even easier to actually view and zoom into now, okay? So there we have it. That is the building. Okay. I'm just going to put that back into Iclone now. We're going to export as an FBX. And again, pen drive, content, buildings, and just overwrites what we already have. And that should come cleaner into Iclone as well for ourselves now. We go back into Iclone now, import. Okay, it's still very, very big as you can see in Iclone, even though it's 0.05 now. It's still humongous in here. Right, we can start to see a few things though. You can see we are actually inside the building now, and you can see just how big this scale is. It's definitely working. I'm not going to do any more with this one now, but I've showed you how to set it up and how you can do that yourselves and be able to get it in working into Iclone now. Right, so that's the second building. Okay, next up, we can get in objects as well in the same way. Easy peasy. Just look through, always make sure it's the FBX file for these files, and then just click yes. Okay, and there's the book. Now, one thing you might not notice, but on this right hand side here, whenever we import anything in from Iclone directly, it says the item is a prop. Okay, and this is why this only works for buildings and objects, because if you try to do this with characters or hair or clothing or even animation and motions, it just will not work because the character is not a prop, and neither is any of the others. So just make sure that you only use this tool for objects and buildings only and nothing else. So there's the book. Again, no problem because it's an FBX file. Okay, if I just import another one in. Okay, this time it's going to be the chair. The chair is an OBJ file, but it's not too much of an issue because it's quite small in scale, so we're actually okay in that circumstance. There's our chair. Okay, so that's the that's how to get the objects in anyway. Next, we want to look at the more complicated things, which is the clothing itself, the characters itself. So we're going to look at the characters. The reason being is because the clothing and the hair, they don't come out very well in these suites of software. Very similar like that Studio. When you try to put the hair in, it comes out as a prop. There's no way of avoiding that. And basically you have to then readjust it and put it into place and try and manipulate it and make it work. It's just not really worth the hassle, and it's not going to work out very well either. And again, same for the clothing. The clothing doesn't even work at all very well. It just doesn't conform or anything. So if you want to do the hair or the clothing, it looks like the best way of doing it is by using tools like Marvelous Designer. Marvelous Designer, remember? Let's quickly show you. I just go into Firefox. So Marvelous Designer is the clothing designer tool. It is a paid software though, so you have to buy it and purchase it. Just bear that in mind. It's not a free software like Blender. Okay, you do have to actually pay for this software. But yes, you can make clothes in this software quite easily. And this is the kind of quality you're looking at. It's a garment making tool basically. Yep. So you can make clothes very professionally in this. There's also a tool for making hair. If you remember what the software is called, it's called Fibershop. So if you look for Fibershop, this will let you make hairs for yourself. Okay, so if you are interested in creating hair, this is a really good software. Fibershop is what it's called, okay? And you can use this for all sorts of different tools. As you'll see on this list, it's being used by all sorts of different companies. But anyway, you can create hair in real time, and this is just some of the things you can create. It's really, really cool the way it works. I've not used this yet. Again, it's software you have to pay for. Good thing is it makes all the maps and everything for you, so all the normal maps, everything you need, it creates it all for you. You don't have to worry about all the complexities there. Okay, it's a really cool software, and it's called Fibershop. That's what it's called. It's called Fiber Shop. Okay, it's a peculiar name, but it's called Fiber Shop, and as you can see, it's not exactly a free version. They do have a free version, but it's very limited. So if you do want to use it for more, a more professional basis, you may need to purchase something along these lines, indie license or maybe indie perpetual, depending on how you want to do that. So yeah, that's Fiber Shop. I definitely recommend looking into that if you want to create your own hair. And there I've showed you the two solutions there to make hair and clothing, and that can hopefully get you a long way when you're designing your own stuff if you are going to become a content creator. This was Marvelous Designer again, just show you again. If you've forgotten, Marvelous Designer is for making your own clothing. Okay, so that's brilliant. Marvelous Designer. There we are. Right, and that's the website for it. And that's what it looks like basically. So we're all good to go. License, if you're wondering how that is, you can see it's not exactly. It's quite an expensive license. They do have a monthly subscription. I don't like monthly subscriptions. They've got a yearly charge as well. So you do have that, but it's not a perpetual license. Bear that in mind. This software is not perpetual, as in you have to pay for it either every year or every month, depending on how you choose to do that. So Marvelous Designer is not a perpetual license. Fiber Shop is a perpetual license if you want to go for that, which is brilliant. Okay, so that's just software I showed you for hair and clothing. I wanted to show you that because I'm not going to customize anything in this, because as I said, it really isn't worth it, and it just messes everything up and it looks awful. So yep, I'll give it a pass on the clothing and the hair. Instead, it's pretty much the same as in DAZ Studio. If you watch my DAZ Studio videos, it works pretty much the same as that. You try to adjust it, it's really awkward though. I wouldn't even bother doing that in Iclone, because in Iclone it's actually a bit more tougher. So yeah, it's that's that. Let's go back buildings, and then you got the objects, and then you got the clothing and the hair, which we're going to skip. So the only thing left really to do now is the characters, and we're going to look at the animations as well. Okay, so I'm going to close down Iclone now. Right, and close down Blender, save more space. Okay, and we're just going to go into the actual Iclone Exchange itself, and we're going to do some quick stuff in here. So we're going to put in a character first. Again, this is from Mixamo. No, not Mixamo, sorry. From the CG Trader, I got these assets. So all these assets I didn't mention to you before, the buildings and the objects, they're all from CG Trader. Probably guessed because I was going into the CG Trader contents, but yes, it's all from CG Trader. What we're going to do now is we're going to put in the characters. Now the characters isn't actually in here. It's actually in the hair folder. This is actually hair with clothing and everything else. So I'm just going to go into one I like, which is RH10. And again, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're using Iclone 3DXchange, and you want to make sure you're always using FBX files here. Very important for characters. Always use FBX files, because otherwise, if you don't use FBX files, they'll come out as an OBJ, and OBJ files always come out as a prop file in Iclone. And you don't want a character to come out as a prop, you want them to come out as an avatar. So make sure that whatever you do in here, it's an FBX file, and make sure that all animation is imported as well. And then click OK. This will put the character on for us. As you will see, the materials don't look very good, but we'll do that in a moment. It says here profile detected. Okay, and it's auto conversion to CC, which is what we want really for character creator. Click on yes, and there's our character Bob straight into Iclone 3DXchange. Okay, now what we want to do now is make sure a couple of things in here. So firstly, make sure the animations is on there. Okay, on the timeline, doesn't matter if they work or not, that's not too important at the moment. On the Perform editor as well, it's all there as well. And then make sure, secondly, all of this face setup, everything's there and populated. Don't worry about that too much though, just make sure there's something there. And then also, lastly, go back right to the top. Right to the top, right to the top. Okay, And make sure it says here root node, okay? And also make sure it says here type non-standard character. That means you've successfully imported a character in properly, okay? And now all you want to do, if that's all correct, all you want to do is click here and click on apply to iClone, the top option, apply to iClone, just there, okay? Then we wait for it to apply into iClone. And then we've got to do a few settings with it in Iclone. So I'll show you the character setup first, and then I'll show you the animation afterwards. Okay, this will just take a few moments, just bear with it. There's our character. Right, now as you can see, the textures look not very good. It doesn't look like a proper human yet, so we've got to sort that out, okay? So let's just go by it one by one. So what we want to do is we want to go into the textures mode here. So again, the materials mode, okay? And then we just go through it one by one. So I'm going to do the head first. Make sure you select the head. Right, in here you'll notice there's no base color. So that's what the issue is here. So you want to find the textures first, okay? We're going to make sure that we're in the CG Trader content, hair, RH10. And we want to go into the FBM files preferably, that's what the diffuse maps are. And we want to find the one for the head on here. So we want to look at the head. Okay, there it is. Skin head, make sure that you go for the diffuse map. Very important. Okay, so that's the head populated on. As you can see, it's made a difference. Next up is the body. So again, I'm just going to quickly put all these on so you can see it's in effect. Again, find the skin body and find the diffuse map and populate it in. There we go. Right, and then we go into the next bits. Arm. Similar thing. Find the right texture for it and put it in. There's the arm and there's the diffuse map. There we have it. Okay. And then the leg. Populate that as well. Skin, leg, diffuse. Okay, getting there. Right, next up we're going to ignore the nails. Eyelash. We're going to need the textures. Look for eyelash, look for the diffuse map. Again, very important. Right. Next up is the eye itself, and it's the right hand side of the eye, sorry, so make sure you select the right one when you're doing this. So you want to go into the eye, and you want to go into the right hand side. Okay, so it's that one. Pop that in. Right, and then the cornea, again, right hand side. There's this one here, cornea. Right, then it's the left eye. So again, we just look for the other eye this time. Right, it's not the normal map. EL, EBR, and then the cornea for the left hand side as well. It's this one here, diffuse map, again, plunk it in. Right, we're getting there. We can't see anything at the moment, but we will in the moment. So once we do the eye occlusion, base color. So this is for the right hand side, so make sure you put it in the right hand side, the diffuse map. Oh yeah, that's the right one. Right, and you can see the eyes are coming out now. And then the L. Again, we're going to go into eye occlusion. There we have it, the eyes are coming out now. There we have it, okay? We're nearly there now. So the main parts of the body is almost done. Right, then we're just going to do these clothing items very quickly. Underwear bottoms, I don't know if I have that or not for the base colour. Let's have a look. do. Okay, so that's the diffuse map. Pop that in. Right, and then we have the strap top. Again, put in the diffuse map for that, so strap top. There it is, diffuse map. Right, we're getting there now. Okay, and then the brow itself. There's the brow map, PBR, there we have it. Okay, then we have the skirts. This is the one I can't find a texture for, so I'll do that later in last. Boots. Right, so the boots. There it is, missed it then. Right, that's a diffuse map for it. Perfect. Okay, then we want to do the hair then. Again, the hair, and again we'll look for the diffuse map and plonk it in. Okay, for the hair we can also put in a normal map just for extra detail as well. So we can say pen drive, so make sure you're on the bump map, very important. Content, character, hair, RH10, FBM. Make sure you go this time, it's the bump texture. I'm sure I did normal map before, but anyways, the bump texture will do as well. Right, put it in as a bump map. You can use normal map if you want, but it doesn't really matter. They're both very good, and there we go. There's the hair coming in now. Okay, right, so then if I just keep going, that's basically how you'd add extra maps. So you don't need to put bump maps and normal maps for everything though. It was just for the hair. I just want to show you more detail, that's all. And that is it, pretty much. Make this bigger. Right, so yes. Right, so the thing I can't do is the skirt. It's already got texture, but it doesn't seem to let us put it in ourselves, so we're going to ignore that. Okay, so now, after putting all the textures in, we can manipulate these settings to our hard content, and as you can see, the character's all fine. Skin looks perfectly fine as well, okay? So now we can change the settings if you wanted to. So we could say, okay, head, and then we can go into its texture map, and we can say just like we did before, or just color, and we can change it from here. Okay? Very, very powerful this, because we can change the settings very easily in here as well. So that is rather amazing. Right, we can change it to hard content. Obviously we don't want that to be changing like that though. I'm just going to undo that. Okay, so that's more like a normal setting now. Right, and you can do the same thing for the body as well, so you can go into there, and again you can change the, not that, that's the texture, adjust color, and you can change the color from here as well. Again, that's the brightness, that's the contrast. It's looking rather good now. Okay, so you can do that, and then you could go into the arms, and again you could change the color for that. Exactly the same thing, right click, adjust color. You know, same as before really, as we were doing before when you're changing the colours. Once you put the texture maps in, it is a piece of cake really. You can change everything, in same as colour and everything. And eyes as well. Again, similar deal. You can really go crazy with this. It's the cornea you need to change it, so go into cornea and then make sure you go into here. Adjust. And there we have it. You can see that's looking brighter now. Okay. You know, you can keep doing these tweaks. I'm not going to go crazy with everything, but you can customize every aspect of that clothing if you wanted to. And once you're happy with that, you can go into File and Save Project. I'm going to overwrite what I did earlier on today. Custom project, right? And that's all saving out now. And that's all the textures properly populated. And that's everything done now apart from the motion settings, okay? So the motion settings now, well, this character is already ready for motion. So all we've got to do is go into here, into the motion tab. Right, into the motion tab. And then just go into motions. And then just find the motion we were using before for Heidi, I think it was. And then just go into perform. And then just pick any of these. And you will see that the character is automatically doing the animation for us. That was nice, quick and easy. Okay? Right, so that's easy with animations we already have in Iclone. Let's put in that animation as well. Okay, and there we have two animations going on now. Right, so that's not bad at all. Right, but say we don't want to do that. Say we want to take this to the next level, and say we want to put in motions from something completely different now, okay? So I'm going to use here, in this case, mix some more animations. I'm just going to save this project out because we're going to close this down in a moment, and because we're going to use character 3DXchange again, okay? I'm going to close this down, right, here we are. Okay, I'm going to go into a new one here, and now I'm going to open up a character with animation I got from Mixamo. So when you get something from Mixamo, it comes with character and animation. So you want to make sure that you basically put it in using this basically. So let me just go into here and you don't want to put in a pre-character in there. You want to make sure it's a blank template because the character is going to come with this anyway. If the character didn't come with the animation, by the way, if you found an animation of a software and it's just the animation, you want to make sure you put the character in here first by, you know, switching by editing in 3DXchange and then put the animation on top of the character. But obviously, if the animation comes with the character, you just click on New in here and then click on File and Open, and then find the character with animation you have. In this case, it's on my pen drive again. Right, this time I'm saving this in the Mixamo animations, so it's Mixamo animations, and it's this one here, the Capario FPX, right? Okay, all I want to do now is make sure that everything is on here, importantly animations, okay, and then click OK. Keep everything else as default, I think. Everything else should be fine. Right, and it will detect the character which is coming in from Mixamo. It says it here clearly, Mixamo default character, and it's going to convert it to a non-standard talking character, which is fine. Click on yes, and it says files all have been updated. Click on yes again. And there we have it. There's our Mixamo character with the animations. We're not really bothered about the character at this stage, we're bothered about the animation. So let me just make sure the animation is here though. In the motion library it is playing, and in the perform editor is playing fine as well. It's a bit of a weird animation as you can see, but that's the animation we're going to go for. Okay, so once we have the animation, we're happy with it, and we're happy with all aspects of it, and what we have to do, we've got to make sure that we apply this character into Iclone, okay? So what we want to do is click on here, apply to Iclone the top option first. Okay, make sure you do that. This will put in the character, and only the character with no animation, so that's why we just do that separately, and then later on we apply the animations from 3DXchange from the animation section just below. So this just exports just the character and nothing else, no animation, static character, okay? Right, so as you can see, static character, no animations, okay? Right, so that's fine, that's all we want, just want the model of the character for the time being. Right, and then what we do, we just scroll down here. Okay, make sure everything else is okay on this page. Yep, the motion library's got the animations in there, and so has a perform editor. Brilliant. That's all looking good, so all we have to do now is just here on the animations tab, we've got to click on apply to Iclone again. So just make sure we do that, but from the animations tab only, and nowhere else. Okay, so animations and apply to Iclone. Okay, that will now bake the character animation in Iclone, as you can see. Okay, so now that character has come with its animation inside of Iclone. Right, so that's absolutely fine. Now we can save this motion preset and use it on any character we want. So now we're set up to do that. So all we've got to do now is go into the Motions tab here, and then we just click on Motion again, and click on Custom Motion again if it's not already there. Right, I'm going to overwrite this other one I made before. Okay. So you'll see it already exists. Click on Yes in my case, right? And there we go. So actually what I'll do is I'll delete it, right? And I'll recreate it from this. So I'll just click on the plus, click on Test, right? And that's all done now. So now we can effectively get rid of this character, and we can click on File and Open Project, and we can open up the custom project we made before, which is a character we want to use, okay? Okay, there's our character all done, all set up and everything else. All we have to do now is put the custom animation on here. So all we have to do, animation's already here on this menu here. Just left click and drag, and there's the animation. I can see it looks a bit weird. The reason being is because this animation, it was a bit weird on our Mixamo character as well. And it's come out weird on here, but you can see the animation is playing. That's maybe not the animation you want to use on our character, but you can see we've got custom animation working in here without any issues at all. Okay, with further fixing and tweaking, I'm sure you can fine-tune that to make it much more like our character. You could possibly do that if you really wanted to as well. But yes, that's all done, and you can just save the project now. Make sure everything's saving, so you've got custom animation now. And that is pretty much it now. So I've showed you all the way to the end how to get everything done. I even showed you as an extra how to get your own character, your own hair with Fibershop, and your own clothing with Marvelous Designer as well. But that's important because you don't want to be importing stuff like clothing and hair from here. Okay, you want to try and avoid doing that, because it's not very clever to do that. You want to try and make your own clothing and hair. Okay, so characters you can get in though, FBX file, no problem at all, as long as it's right and it's what you're happy with, you can get it in, you can put the motion in, and you can even customize the animations and motions if you like as well. And that's pretty much it. That's everything covered now. So just remember, with licenses and all this stuff, pretty much all royalty free. You can't resell these products. You can sell them as a game. So if you've made a game, you can sell it as a game, as a compiled product, as an exe file. But bear that in mind, you cannot sell this as an individual product or asset on a marketplace store. You cannot do that. So you can use it, as I said, in the game engine. If you're going to sell the game, that's absolutely fine. You can use it for that. And that's pretty much it. I've talked about the licenses, all pretty much royalty free. And that's everything I wanted to cover to you. I've showed you how to export literally everything in here, how to import it in, how to get the animations in, and everything is now working. So that's it for these videos, and thank you for your time. I might come up with some other videos later on. See you next time.